Yo, so I'm walking on this path that I just found, and I found a snake, a live snake. Love nature, but if I get bit, yeah, that's a wrap. So I'm out. Good morning, everybody. I hope that all's well. Another day above soil. So recently, I've been making paper, stationery paper. And I got a suggestion from my mom. She said, okay, follow your sustainable instincts. Be sustainable for something. Try going to a flower shop. They might have some dead flowers that you might need or you might want. Rose petals are very expensive if you try and buy them in bulk. But if you can find a florist who's getting rid of them anyway, then you could save yourself some money. Or it might not even be rose petals. It could be lavender. It could be dry orchids. It could be anything, really. So I'm in my car, and I'm about to drive to our local florist to see if they have any dead flowers. Sounds like a plan. So the lady behind the counter, she was a little bit skeptical at first. She was. I said, hey, how you doing today? She's like, oh, I'm good. How can I help you today? Well, I have a really off-the-wall request. Okay. I was wondering if you had any dead or dying flowers. Why do you need dead or dying flowers? Well, I've got the stationery paper that I'm going to be making. And the purpose of my business is to recycle and to repurpose. So instead of putting these dead flowers in the trash, I don't see them as trash. Well, can you please send me some examples? So I showed her the paper. She's like, oh, let me see what I have in the back for you. Sure enough, she had these. She was definitely weirded out at first. Like, when do you ever go into a flower shop? And when the heck do you ask for dead flowers? People be asking for bouquets and all that other stuff. For weddings, for retirement parties, for sympathy, for funerals. And people want live flowers. Why you want dead flowers? Believe me, I love me some dead flowers. I still have use for them. And she even put it in this piece of paper that I may or may not put in the blender, make it go for a spin and make more paper. Right. So anyway, during the last week, I'm in the process of taking a small business class because I'm trying to launch LDX. I'm trying to send it. And in order to send it, I'm going to need to learn how to run this business the right way. So about a couple days ago, there was a lawyer who came into our business class. And he was talking about how we need all of our ducks in a row. We need all of our important documents. One of the documents he was talking about was meeting minutes. So apparently, as an LLC, I need to have an annual meeting by myself. Okay. So I might as well just make that happen. I'm gonna go back to my headquarters and have me this meeting. Okay, challenge accepted. So, okay, it's time for our annual meeting. We're gonna do this over lunch. So, okay, meeting commencing. Does anybody have any questions or comments about what's going on with LDX? Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? All who oppose? Okay, meeting adjourned. Oh, by the way, yeah, Live Don't Exist LLC. We're going to be going to an arts and crafts show in Liverpool on the 10th of October. It's going to be an open air market. I've been trying to get into these arts and crafts shows. No luck. Most of them happen inside. They're like, oh, because of the you-know-what, we can't do it. Seriously, I signed up for one in Baldwinsville and Fulton. I've signed up for one in Oswego. I've signed up for one in Cicero. I've signed up for another one I then forgot about. But yeah, I just signed up for it and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, the shows got canceled. We'll give you a refund though. Yeah. But I just so happened to find this one show in Liverpool and it's outside. Very similar to the ones that I've been doing for the last couple weeks. So I guess there is a little bit of an update. Maybe I should update the meeting minutes. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be selling some stuff. And yeah, it is what it is. So now that my meeting's over, I'm going to get back to work. I got some more paper to make. This just speeds up the process. Use my hair dryer or a hot gun. Dries up in about a few seconds, maybe a minute or so. Let it dry for about a few more minutes and it's done. Paper's still drying a little bit. I've made a lot, like a lot. Probably about 2-3 packs I got. I'm definitely going to sell that when I'm at the open air market in Liverpool. I'm also going to make a few other things, but I want to make things that will sell. The stationery paper that I'm making, that's going to sell. That's a very popular item. And I also use some things from the local flower shop. Can't be mad at that. I'm also going to make something else so that I can sell it for the 10th. Drink coasters. These are a very hot commodity. Very quick, very easy to make. People be buying them like if it was chocolate. So I'm going to put some Mod Podge on these, make a few more, sell them. These are a hot commodity, hot buy. I figure I'd tell y'all a little bit about how I got interested in doing some of these craft shows. When Live Don't Exist LLC was first a thought in my mind, I went to Canada in a place called Kingston, Ontario. And I started to write out all of my ideas and concepts of how LDX was going to happen. And then that day after that, I started making my artwork. And to be honest, I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. I didn't think about selling anything. It was what it was. It was a hobby. So I started to do this kind of stuff at the bowling alley. I was rolling newspapers, and I was cutting these plastic bags, crocheting the plastic bags. And people started to ask questions like, "Ooh, why are you doing this? What are you doing? What are you working on today? What are you working on tomorrow? What are you working on the next week?" And people have been fascinated with what I was doing. So I explain it. And they're like, "Oh, this is really cool. Have you thought about selling it?" So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to sell it yet. But then 5 other people and then 6 other people are like, "Are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it?" So if all these individuals kept coming to me saying, "Am I going to sell it?" then maybe I should sell it. So there was this one instance where I went to a bowling alley and people were seeing my plastic bags, my Plarn bags. And they were like, "Oh, these are really neat. Are you going to sell them?" And I'm like, honestly, at this point, I am thinking of selling them, but what is the best way that I can do this? And they were like, "Oh, go to places like the Polish Home or go to these craft shows." And I'm like, craft shows? What are those? Because honestly, when I started making this artwork, I never even thought about what the heck a craft show was. So they're like, "Oh, it's simple. You go to an elementary school, you go to a middle school, a high school, you go to your church, you go to a parish, Harperfest, you go to all these organizations like the Elks Lounge, you go to the American Legions, and they have these fundraising craft shows that people would go to and they sell stuff and buy stuff. They're a lot of fun for those who go." So I was like, okay, maybe I should reach out to them. And they're like, go even further because there's some Facebook groups or things on social media that advertise arts and crafts shows. So sure enough, I went on my Facebook, I went on Instagram, and they had Facebook groups for craft shows and vendors and all that kind of stuff. You have people who sell jewelry, you have people who sell their crocheted goods, they sell mason jars full of some fancy stuff. They've got candles, they've got soap, So I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of tea of how these things work. So you would log on to Facebook, you would log on to your social media, and you would find groups that are like such and such craft shows or such and such craft and vendor shows, any Facebook group like that. I went to the CNY Arts and Crafts Collective or the CNY Arts and Crafts Shows Facebook group page. And they would have event flyers, they would have a calling for artists and vendors and crafters. And then you would inquire with the person who posted the advertisement. So you would talk to the person who advertised the event and you would say, hey, I'm interested in such and such and such. And they were like, cool, we're glad that you're interested. What are you selling? And there's a reason for why they're asking what you're selling. The reason for why they're asking why you're selling is for the competition. So let's say that I'm not the only one who makes stuff out of recycled material. You have Live Don't Exist, and you probably have Bizao Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 LLC or S Corp, and they also sell things that are made from recycled material. So LDX and Bizao Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop Bop, they're both selling similar things, and people are going to both, and they're not making as much money as they want. Same thing with people who sell jewelry. If you got 4 people who sell jewelry, that's a lot of competition, just saying. So if you have a unique product, if you have something that is good for the target audience, the chances of you making money, or at least breaking even, would go significantly higher. And you have some situations where the prices vary from market to market to market to market. You have some craft shows that are going to cost you $10. They're going to cost $10 to set up. There's some that cost $25. I've seen some that cost $100. If they cost $100 to set up, I'm going to be like, is this show going to make me fly? I'm just saying. The first couple of shows that I did in Fulton cost $10. I made $65 in profit the first show. I made 50 something in profit the second show, but I didn't make profit the third show. So I just about broke even because I had to pay for gas, I had to pay for materials, I had to pay for the whole 9 yards. Get me? Okay, good. In theory, the least amount of money you pay, the amount of traffic is going to correspond. For example, let's say that the show costs you only $10. You're probably not going to get a lot of people to go to this craft show. If you got a show that's $50 and this is really, really, really ridiculously big festival, you're going to get a lot of foot traffic. In theory, the more the foot traffic, the more the money. Yup. That's how it works. It's almost like a lottery. When you put $5 into the machine and get a scratch off, there's no guarantee that you're going to get $5 back. In all honesty, it's pretty much the same for these craft shows. You put in $10, you put in $25, you don't know what you're going to get. And I'm not going to lie, that third craft show that I did for CNY Arts Market, I was a little bit disappointed, but it's all good. Maybe it just wasn't my day. And you get it. Some people have really, really good days. Some people have those meh days. And other people just have those days that they wish they would end. If every day was sunshine, kittens, rainbows, hollyhocks, daisies, puppies, kittens, and bunnies, it would be very unrealistic. If your only goal is to break even, I'm sorry, but you're selling yourself short. Have a goal in your mind where you're like, okay, I want to do more than just break even. I want to make double the amount that I paid to get into this event. That's a good mindset to have. please don't sell yourself short. And that goes for people even beyond crafters. It goes to businessmen, it goes to teachers, it goes to car salesmen. If you're looking to just break even, that's not living, man. That's existing. It's existing. If you come in there with a meh mindset, then you're going to get meh results, and then that's just not going to feel good for you. I'm just telling y'all the plain truth. But if you come in there high-spirited and you're getting people excited, and then you're generating all this revenue, that's reason to be excited. Anyway, that's all the tea that I have for going into these craft shows and whatnot. But before we part ways and leave, I have a relatively important question to ask of y'all. If you went to sleep tonight and you didn't wake up the next day, would you truly be satisfied with the life that you've lived? If your answer is no, then it's most definitely time to do some soul searching and think about some of the changes that you're going to need to make within your life. I say this because there's a lot of things within our society that discriminate, and death does not discriminate. I want to thank y'all for watching. If this is your first, second, third, or beyond time watching, feel free to subscribe. Hit that button that's right below. I'm also going to include down below my Etsy and Instagram. I leave y'all with much love, good spirits, and vibes. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. I'm out.